Welcome back to Never Famous. Please make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Today we're getting into a little conversation. I was listening to Rogan today, and I just really wanted to react to this piece right here.
All
I thought
right,
it was a
just
real
for
good
context,
conversation.
I guess I'll. So this is an episode where they're talking about Raskin and Tristan Harris. They're pretty much are the guys that did the Social Dilemma, where they kind of warn people about how social media is impacting us, and they are kind of doing something similar about AI. Yeah, so I've been to it.
We're about to cross this point where more content that we see that's on the internet will be generated by AIs than by humans.
It's really worth pausing to let that sink in. In the next 4 to 5 years, the majority of cultural content, like the things we see, will be generated by AI. You're like, why? But it's sort of obvious because it's again this race dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's what are people going to do? They're going to take all of their existing content and put it through an engagement filter. You run it through AI.
I agree with that. I think that's honestly, I don't even think it's going to take 4 to 5 years. I think the very much rudimentary AI that's being utilized right now by many people. It's just because right now we're in that early stage where people are literally just playing with things like ChatGPT, and many are using it like Google. Then you have people that are power users that are truly using it to create amazing things. And AI has the advantage that it knows the internet up to a certain date, so it will have way more access to information than you do. And I do think we have been almost programming ourselves as humans for this. Like social media itself, from the moment that it got into algorithms, and algorithm is what's been ruling the way we interact in most of these platforms, without us knowing, I think we've been training ourselves for this to take place, for this to actually happen.
No, I think we've been being trained. Not that we're training ourselves.
I think training ourselves because
Because
we're
we don't know, like, we didn't know the effects of this. When you train yourself, you go to the gym and you train yourself because you know you're gonna get bigger, stronger, faster. You go to the train gym because you know you're gonna get better at
I
your
guess that's a good
wrestling,
point.
fighting. But
But I
if you're being
think
manipulated,
yeah, I think it's almost like we became addicted to it. Like we were fed a drug without knowing, and now we've been addicted to it. And now it's like, how do
oh,
we
like the
stop
like
it?
the like the pill pandemic in America that we got everybody addicted and didn't know. Same
Yeah,
thing.
same thing. I think that is true. And especially now, if you think of every social media platform that's come from the early mid 2000s till now, like we started from the MySpace to the Facebook, where everything was chronologically. Then you went to Instagram, where you still had that timeline, and now you have TikTok, where your mind has just been programmed to only want to consume something engaging for 7, 15, 30 seconds at max, and you only have bandwidth for attention on one thing for 15, 20 seconds, and then you move it on to the next. We are being designed to be controlled, because imagine once AI, which probably already knows, what are the things that make humans engage? If you do this for 7 seconds, people will stop and look at it, and there it's going to be a master at that.
AI and it takes your song and it makes it more engaging, more catchy. You put your post on Twitter and it generates the perfect image that grabs people. So it's generated that image and it's rewritten your tweet. Like you can just see.
I think you want to keep in mind what he said is it generates the perfect image that grabs people.
Wait, no, no. When he said the music, I
Same,
responded to the music
same. I think
part.
it'll be the same thing with music. I think that the thing about music is gonna be it's not gonna be the perfect song. It's gonna be songs and content that will make you listen to it. It's gonna be because all AI has to go with is the information that it has from us interacting with our screens and our devices. And if what is gauging as success is how much time we spend on that one thing, its job is to make you be on that one thing for as long as possible. Even if the music itself doesn't have any kind of messaging, but it's making you stay on to listen or to watch it or whatever the case is in that scenario.
I don't know if you're familiar with the rapper Simba. He made it. He like when I first heard about him, I was fucking with him. like the first couple songs, and then he dropped the album that was trash, and then it was just super trash. And like 6 months later, he came out and said that I don't know if it was that particular album, but that he was making music with AI. And that just put the icing on the cake. I'm gonna keep it a bean, bro. If you making music with AI and you like, don't admit to that shit, because I can't listen to you. It takes out the whole Like, I can understand a ghostwriter. I'm okay with. I'd rather you get a ghostwriter, not no fucking AI, bro. No, it's not the same. That's why that shit sucks. No, and then if you got it doesn't sound the same, bro. Anything that, like, at least that I've known that has been
Well, the
AI,
thing is that right now you're
it
thinking
sucks.
about it,
I'm talking about only on the music tip.
even on the music, because right now the problem is that you're talking about AI in its infancy. And like right now, where if you think about it, shit, we are like right on the edge of 2023. ChatGPT hasn't been out for a full year. Yeah,
You can't tell
to
me
kind of give you
Chat
an idea.
GPT is gonna be able to do what Nicki Minaj could do, bruh. When she could put her voice in 3 or 4 different tone inflections, she could catch 3, 4, 5, 6 different flows. And I'm not even a big Nicki Minaj fan. I'm just a fan of rap, of like the creativity of, she knows what old songs to pick and mix with this, and the different
Yeah,
pockets and flows that she could like. I'm sorry, bruh. If before I die, AI is as good as Jay-Z doing shit as good as, like, I could, like, just a
bro,
few
like
different
this
people.
is
Bro,
that's an ignorant way of thinking. Because like
I'm
realistically,
talking about the greatest. I'm talking about the top tier of
yes,
people. Yes,
yes,
and okay, then because you got to think about it, AI is gonna have enough bandwidth of everything. It's gonna have everything that's ever existed. It's gonna have everything. So we got to put that against the top tier art, like the best of like the top level, the top five,
mhm,
10 of thing. Like, I'm gonna be that. I'm not like I'm okay with that. Like, that's gonna push people to have better creativity. It's gonna be harder to get through, but I'd rather it be like, yo, everybody's putting out their best level of creativity, and we as humans continue to support other humans. And it's like, all right, because we know it's actually coming from you or whatever, that we and it's gonna push people to push their creativity to be better, instead of putting out the bullshit that they putting out now, like just whatever, making a song and I'm making an album in 2 days and shit. Like, no, bro, like, take your time, take a year, 2 year, whatever, and
yeah.
make
But
the
that's
best
the
album you can
problem. This
make.
is what I'm saying. We've been trained for this to take place. Because the problem is that honestly, right now, I'm pretty sure you can make a JC song with AI solely, and it'll probably sound just like AC did it. JC did it. Now, what I mean by us being trained is
I
maybe
disagree
necessarily
completely.
us, because we are in that border where I don't know if you did it, but I know for me, I was young enough to not had it really have the internet, and then had the internet, but barely, and I mean like barely. Uh, Whereas the new generation doesn't have that. And the newer kids, the younger people that we have now, only have attention for so much. And we are losing our ability to think critically. So now it makes sense in a sad way that computers are going to start doing the thinking for us. And I can absolutely see that happening, because we do dumb shit as humans for convenience. And AI, the one thing that is bringing at a massive speed is convenience. It can take somebody's job that they normally would have spent, let's say in a day, they would have spent 6, 7 hours working on one thing in a day. You get it done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? And oftentimes that initial draft or that first step that you might have taken is way better than what you would have written in 6 hours.
I'm gonna be honest. If you guys have watched this content and like our content enough, you could tell I haven't read the most books. I haven't. I could be. You could tell. But I think in books, it has the same level of passion as music at the top level of books. There are people that have been around for hundreds of years for some of the things that they have written down, that like people are still reading today. Marcus Aurelius, so on and so. There's a bunch of other people that I don't know about, because like I said, I didn't read. But what I'm saying, like, it's there's gonna be a certain level. Like, that's why I tried to keep it on music, because I understand the day-to-day work shit, where there's gonna be like, we see in Philly, like the Wawas are like only gonna be run by like machine now or whatever. Like in certain Wawas or whatever, like that's like a new thing that they're doing. So I get that, where it cuts out people entirely or majority of their job. But at the same time, I think that for certain things like a music or like writing a book, or for certain art or certain things like that, that there's gonna be people that are just
I
too
don't
too
I don't
magical,
disagree.
too
I
like
get it.
they're
I get
just different.
like I don't even think it's a magical because remember you can always tell AI to write in the style of whoever it is. And the reality of it is with 3 seconds of your audio, I can make stuff that sounds just like you.
Yeah,
Now, the one thing I'm gonna say is AI only has access to what's already in the internet. Unless it starts to think for itself and ideate new things for itself, it can only has access to what it has on the internet. So the human creativity
oh,
of
it's
coming up,
definitely gonna start thinking. At that point, it's gonna start thinking for itself. So assuming that it
well, I
is,
don't know. I don't know if it'll be allowed to, if it can, or if
it's
it not.
sentient, bro.
But I mean that would be the difference between a human is that if you're ideating and you're creative and you're making new things, that will be probably important. But I think also the ability to almost I don't know if I hope that this will become a thing, but like seeing people live, going to like speeches in person when you're actually seeing the human, I think that may become a thing that becomes more valuable in the next years to come.
That's why that you didn't notice the way that ticket prices have like significantly risen over the last year or like year and a
Mhm.
half for like at least music and stuff like that. It's for that same thing because it's gonna get to a point where there's gonna be a lot of VR, a lot of like thing where I'm gonna be able to see Beyonce live. She's gonna be standing right here in front of me, but I'm gonna be home
Yeah.
type shit. So it's gonna be like, but it's not like that. It's gonna just drive the cost up. And it's gonna, but I think that's good for the artist too because at the end the artist got to get their money somehow. They can't fuck from the sales because the companies own everything.
No, but that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like you see how we automatically, for convenience, you're already saying, "Oh, that's going to be good for the artist. That's okay. That's going to be that way."
No,
That's
I didn't say it was okay. It's gonna be that way. I said it's good for the
I
artist.
get it. So it's going to be different. It's just going to be like a weird way of adapting. So,
But I
uh,
mean, it's always gonna be like that. Things are ever changing, or like ever evolving. There's always gonna be something's changed for the worse. Something's changed for the better.
the one thing I would say though, I don't think anything has ever changed this fast.
No,
And as humans, I don't know if we have the capacity to adapt so fast. And I oftentimes think, is this the reason why there's so many mental issues? Is it like our brains in many ways like overloading and not being able to process as many emotions? And I don't need literally mean emotions that I'm having, but like just looking at a feed in social media, I'm looking at something tragic that may make me think in a bad way, something happy, something that'll make me angry. And I'm quickly just going through this roller coaster of information that I don't know if humans 50 years ago ever had to process so much in one day
no,
or even in one
of
hour.
course not. No, bro, because 50 years ago, you talking about pre 2000. You don't gotta go 50 years ago. Go 20 years ago, pre 2002. You for the average person would still get a newspaper. It's still radio. You have to go. You gotta. You wake up in the morning. You're not looking at a phone. You would like. You don't hear something outside of your house to you unless you turn the radio on in your house or you get into your car on your way
Yeah.
to work or you grab the newspaper. Shit like that. Like it wasn't the average person
Yeah, you
didn't
had a
really have.
few things to, like you got to choose and you're interacting with that one
And
thing.
I think that like I asked Google when does Gen Z start, and it is 1997. So technically, I am Gen Z, but I also to your answer to answer your question earlier about when I got introduced to the internet. I was born in the internet era, but I was born in a big back with the big back computers. You know what I'm talking about? When
Mhm.
them shit was slow as fuck, when you had to do some shit. So sometimes I'll try to go on the website, I'll put that shit in, I'll go to the kitchen, motherfucker make a bowl of cereal, come back, and that shit still ain't load type shit. So it's like I grew up in it, but not really. It was more like
Nah, but even that, you want to keep in mind.
I had LimeWire. So like I was hearing who the
No,
fuck
I
is
hear
Bill
you.
Clinton? When I'm like
No,
6,
like I'm hearing you.
I didn't have sexual
But
relations with that woman. I'm like
no,
6 years
but what
old.
I'm saying is think about it like you still had a computer where in the same day you could have went and gotten information, whereas before, if you wanted to get information, you either have to wait till the next day until the paper came, or you had to go take a
Of
trek
trending information, yeah.
and go buy it or find it somewhere. It's not the same. Even that alone is crazy.
Yeah.
Like you didn't have to send a telegram. You know what I mean? You didn't have to
Or
send a
facts.
letter and wait a week for it to get delivered and another 2 weeks for you to get it back if somebody responded. Like that kind of stuff.
I think that's why there was less divorce rates because by the time like when the dudes was coming back home from the army and all that shit, like the wives knew already. They'll send they have enough time in between with the letter and shit. Like, oh hey babe, I'm gonna be back this day or whatever the fuck. That's what it was, brother. I'm telling you, there wasn't none of this like social media shit. Where you be in Afghanistan, you pull up Instagram, you see your wife getting hit on OnlyFans and shit. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this internet shit is fucked up, bro. Like it has its perks, but at the same time, it's like it's
I get it. It is what it is. But I do think it's like, hey, this AI is here to stay, so might as well try to adapt and try to be. I don't even want to say an early adopter of it. Try to understand as much of it as possible, because if not, it will probably overtake you. Because I think in order for you to,
I think it's gonna overtake a lot of people. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
like you said, like no, not to, like now being serious. Um, it's I think it really is moving. It's moving so fast that it's gonna overtake everybody. Like or not everybody, but like probably like 80% of people. Because how many people? Like honestly, like I'm young and shit, but I've never used ChatGPT before. Like I've used AI. Different AIs before, but I've never used ChatGPT, and like I know that's the big one that everybody's talking about. I don't know if it's a website, an app. I don't know anything about it. So,
crazy.
and that's what I'm saying. And I can tell by your face that in your head you like, yo, you bugging the fuck out for not knowing shit about this. And I can see it in your face. So it's like, it is what it is, bro. But it's like 'cause sometimes like some like I think I'm an old soul a little bit. Like not I think I grew up around older people too much sometimes that like I have their mentality a little bit too much
I
with
get
certain
it, but
shit.
I'm like, nah, you're not more of an old soul than I am, but it's one of those things. The way I view it is either I learn it and I adapt to it and I become, I don't want to say an expert at it, but I become proficient in it, or I'm gonna be consumed by it because somebody else is gonna be good at it.
Yeah.
And that's just the name of the game in anything you're doing. Like if you're an athlete and you're not training as much and getting better every day, somebody else is gonna become and get better. Same thing on anything you do in life. And I think AI is just gonna insert itself in so many different areas of life that if we don't start to try to understand it and at least acknowledge its existence, um, to understand when it's doing its weird thing, and and once you start using it, you start to identify it. Where I can see somebody who doesn't use it doesn't even realize what's AI and what isn't.
I honestly, I probably have thought something wasn't AI and it probably was. But
I
like
would
honest,
say one thing, and 99.9% of all the reels, shorts, and shit you're looking on TikTok right now have gone through AI.
I didn't know that many people were using that shit like that. Like when we start, cause we use it to help edit our content, and once I started to like really get into it, I'm like, yo, like a bunch of people that I watch are in that same lane. So like,
Everybody's using it. It's just not right because the algorithms are seeking for you to be feeding it content constantly. And in order for you to be able to keep up with its speed, now that AI is a thing, you either need to have a team of 15, 20 people just editing nonstop, or
well,
use one AI tool that will get it done in 2 minutes.
but then like if you saying that literally just made me think about this clip that we're like how this whole conversation started of so who was really dictating what is being talked about, what's trending, what people actually like and what people don't, because there's a lot of people that like you said like well you didn't say it directly like this, but how I interpret it is there's a lot of people that are sheep that are just whatever way they push that's the way that they're gonna go. So at least like with music, I can't speak because I can be persuaded in things. I won't lie, but at least with music, I'm like, nah. If I like this, I'll stand and like, nah, I like it. I don't give a fuck if the whole room hates it. If I like it, I like it. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's corny just because everybody else said it was corny. I'm not that kind of person. At least when it comes to music type shit. So if we can all kind of do that shit with like everything in life, like kind of just like be just stand strong in
But
our
we
opinions,
won't.
like
And you know
yeah.
this. We won't. Like, I think right now, we're living in an age of literally influence. Like, we have influencers. And now, if influencers going to utilize the power of AI to influence and make more money, you think they're not going to do that?
That's exactly what they do. You fucked me up on that one. You fucked me up on that one. Yeah, oof.
Yeah. So,
All right,
it is
well,
what it is. living in the present. I don't want to even say it's scary times. It's the time we're living in right now.
Hit the like, comment, and subscribe. This is Never Famous. We appreciate you for tuning in. Please drop a comment. Let us know how you guys feel about this entire conversation. The way that AI, where AI is taking us. Is it going to be the leader in the forefront, or are we going to rebel against it?
Yeah.
This is Never Famous. Peace.